Here at Ghorfa's 27th Business Forum, I've got the chairman of the Dorsch Group with me, one of Germany's largest planning and consulting companies, and he's also president of Ghorfa and has been active in the Arab world for more than 20 years doing business. Thank you very much for joining me, Olaf Hoffmann.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a great pleasure and honor.
We've talked a lot about the programs that some of the Arab countries have set up for their economic diversification, for example, like Oman 2040. Qatar has such a program as well. What would you say, what can Germany learn from the Arab world in that respect?
Thank you very much for that interesting topic. Yes, if we want to discuss these national visions like Qatar 2030, Saudi Arabia National Vision 2030, or also Abu Dhabi Vision 2030, these visions were coming up and were created in the late 2000s. And they have slightly different topics, but in all these national visions, they want to prepare these countries for a next development phase, which means in the Arab world, a post-oil and gas society and industry. And in these national visions, we could see in the late 2000s in sectors like food security, tourism, mobility, housing, where these countries in detail want to be 20, 25 years ahead. And astonishingly, most of these national visions, which were at that time so ambitious that we as Germans thought this is difficult to achieve. It's a fantastic plan, but maybe we talk about Qatar National Vision 2050 and not 30. So what we learned now, how fast and how in detail the countries were following their national visions. So they made an excellent plan, and they were in schedule. One example is the Soccer World Championship in Qatar. They announced in the late 2000s we want to play a bigger role in the sports industry as part of our national strategy. Luckily, they won the Soccer World Championship. They built a whole city for it, stadiums, public infrastructure, mobility, and everything until 2022. So they reached a lot of their vision in the beginning of the 20s, and now they have some time to fulfill the rest. But also if we look into, for example, Abu Dhabi, they outlined in a master plan how to enlarge the city in terms of urban design, and they located specifically industry zones, real estate, tourism, harbor extension, whatever they are doing, and they are following these plans exactly. So what we can learn here in Germany or in Europe, that we need these kind of long-term plans on one hand, and successive governments also, they should follow, even if the preceding governments are from other parties and have slightly other ideas. When it comes to public infrastructure and to a national vision, for example, like our energy transition ideas we have in Germany, we have to follow these ideas and plans for 1 or 2 decades, and not only just for 4 or 5 years, a period of one government. So this is a big learning, that these huge projects technically can be set up and executed, but there's also necessary a strong will of politicians to follow it up. I'm quite confident that more and more we will achieve these things because of a society like in Germany, which is demanding for fighting the climate change. This is a topic every government has. So from that logic on, the energy transition projects we have here in Germany, they are going on, and others too, also change of our mobility concepts and to increase the energy, the electric energy diversification in Germany. These are things which are coming. Hopefully, we learn from the Arab regions in one go.
Have a master plan and follow it for a longer period.
Yes.
That's very interesting takeaway. Talking about master plans, in Egypt a city has been built, the administrative capital, and Dorsch was involved with the transportation sector. Can you tell us a bit on that example, how digitization can help with the infrastructure?
Yes. So Dorsch, a subsidiary of Dorsch, which is called ECG, Engineering Consulting Group in Egypt, which is the biggest engineering firm in Egypt, with about 3,000 architects and engineers. They were doing the master plan for New Cairo, for the new administrative city, and for sure part of it was the intelligent transport system and mobility concept for that city. Mobility is the game changer for all cities. We see it in cities like the new administrative city capital in Cairo, which is a greenfield project. It is built from scratch, so you can, from the first day on, you can think of the latest intelligent transport technologies. But also we will learn from these greenfield urban developments here for Europe and for European cities, that if we want to reduce the traffic impact, especially in city centers, and also to connect the outskirts better to the urban body, these smart city intelligent transport systems, new mobility concepts will help a lot, and they will change our urban environment and also our idea of how we are using the city. It will change the face of our city centers a lot, and they will become greener, more spacious, less noise, and less air pollution. This we will see.
Looking forward to that. You said that before in an interview that the assessment of the Arab world needs to change, the assessment by Europe and Germany. Can you specify on that a little bit?
Yes. During the last 15 to 20 years, the Arab world reinvented itself completely new. And my feeling is that a lot of observers from the European or German side, they still have the idea of the Arab world of the 2000s. So a lot has changed in good and bad terms. So we saw a rebellion, but there are countries which learned a lot out of the rebellion, and they were advancing in the last 15 years. Also their political systems, and going into a very good and bright future for a very young generation in the Arab world. Then we see oil and gas producing countries which were using the income to create a high-class, future-orientated infrastructure in order to be prepared for a post-carbon age in their countries. And when it comes to education, the today typical young Arab lady or man, many of them have studied in excellent universities and schools in their countries, or many of the young people, they were leaving the Arab world, studying around the world. So they have seen a lot. They can now have a good idea on quality, on services they are receiving, and especially we as Germans, we are very, very well received in the Arab world. But there are other competitors on eye level, like South Korea. They are as expensive as we. They deliver the same quality as we, so we have direct competition. And then I would like to highlight another point in having another view on the Arab world. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, China didn't play any role in the region. today, China has a trade volume with the Arab region which is 4 times higher than Germany. And just to say the Chinese products are cheaper will not lead to an answer of it. Sometimes yes, but often also they offer products which are today needed in the Arab world in the quality to find the right solution, or also services Chinese companies are delivering. And the political backup of the Chinese companies in these days is excellent. The export strategy of China is quite clear and strong, impacting the region. So I would really like to advertise to review our idea of the Arab world, which has changed dramatically. The international partners of the Arab world have changed, our competition has changed, and the Arabs have changed. So